Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Nathan Fox, one of the co-founders of LSATdemon.com and the weekly podcast Thinking LSAT. I have with me Josh Mansfield, a teacher with the Demon. Josh, we're looking at an email from Samir who says LR improving, but RC isn't.
Hi guys, I started studying for the LSAT in May and started with a prep book, which looking back did not help me improve much. I got an LSAT Demon subscription at the beginning of July and have been seeing some improvement since then. Attached below are my scores since the start of July, and as you can see, my LR scores have drastically improved, but it looks like my RC scores haven't improved one bit and are pretty inconsistent. What am I doing wrong, and how can I improve? And Nate, I did include the charts that
That's a
Samir has sent in.
that's a hell of a lot of charts.
For reference, there are multiple like line graphs and like plot charts with multiple like tables and tables of results. My first inclination, Samir, is that you are reading way too much into this data, and that you are tracking this, and like you'll go 3 days. Like I see a stretch where you did 3 RC sections, for example, above your trend line, and you think, oh, I'm making some progress. And then you have one that's at the trend line, and then one that's below. And you're like, oh my gosh, like that's like, never mind. Right. And you're just reading way too much into this. I have other concerns, but my first and foremost is like, when I see people present me with these types of charts and this much data, it feels like this is defining their LSAT study, and it makes me worried.
Yeah, I mean, it's just funny how people get so locked into these analytics.
Mm-hmm.
There's no meaning in any of this.
No.
Like, okay, fine. I'm willing to believe that you're worse at RC than you are at LR,
Mm-hmm.
but the reason why isn't here. It's not in any of this stuff. Like, stop it with the trends and I don't know. It's like, it's just so much tracking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's also quite a lot of volume, right? It looks like a full
Uh-huh.
practice test every week, at least one full practice test every week,
Mm-hmm.
plus a bunch of additional sections mixed in on top of that. Right? Because this is only data since the beginning of July.
Yeah. Yes, that's
We're looking at
correct.
9-10 weeks worth of data here, and there's so much data
Uh-huh.
that, yeah, I'm just like, Samir, are you learning anything from any of your mistakes you're making?
Yeah, because he took a practice test on the 18th. He took a practice test on the 23rd. Took a practice test on the 1st. That's August and September. Um, Man, Samir, like in addition to all these sections, if you're and what it looks like percentage scores are, some of them are 20, like low 20s, but are you reviewing every answer that you miss and the ones that you weren't sure about thoroughly? Because that's 4 or 5 hours each practice test. Um, yeah. Have you ever seen data like this, like meaningfully improve students' LSAT ability?
No, not at all, because the
Yeah.
answer is just not here. I mean, the students need to learn from one LSAT question. Let's like meaningfully discuss one LSAT question. Just show me one you got wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Because, what happened was, if we're talking about reading comprehension, the way you miss a reading comprehension question is you pick an answer that describes something they didn't say or misdescribes the reason why they said something that they did say, while also failing to pick the answer that correctly describes what they said or why they said it.
Yeah. Students ask all the time, how do you review for RC? And there's those videos that our teachers record where they read the passage and like engage with it as they go. If you miss multiple questions, it means you didn't understand what you were reading. At that point, did you watch that video? Did you try and reread the passage with that video and go through it? Because that alone should take you half an hour or more for just one RC passage. So one RC passage, if you miss 2 or more questions, could take you your entire hour of drilling or more if you do that
Yeah.
right. And people who are spamming sections and practice tests
Right.
don't tend to spend that kind of time.
I mean, I think these are the same people who give us feedback like, well, I really wish your reading comprehension content was better. Like you
Mm,
need better lessons about reading comprehension instead of just saying read more carefully. But I'm sorry, you just need to read more carefully. Like
yeah.
the the questions on reading comp are just a whole bunch of must be true questions. They're asking you what it said in the passage. They're asking you a million different ways. What did it say in the passage? Why did they say, this part? What did that mean? That part, what did that mean? And by the way, we're going to ask you the main point question at least twice, sometimes three times or more times in a single passage. We're going to keep asking you what was the main point of the passage. You can predict the answer to half the questions if you actually understand the passage.
Hmm.
So I don't know how many times I can say it in like how many different ways, but what you need is not analytics or highlighting, or you don't need theory and technique. What you need is be honest with yourself. You picked an answer that doesn't answer the question based on the record you were given. You also failed to pick the right answer, which does answer the question based on the record you were given. It's not a test of second best, it's a test of rights and wrongs. So I would encourage, I mean, I appreciate Samir's putting in a shit ton of effort.
Hmm.
I think these pretty charts and graphs and the abundance of data, I think you could make more progress in like two full tests and six sections instead of what we have here, which is dozens of sections and
Hmm.
tests.
Yeah. Quality over quantity.
For
Can't
for
can't
sure.
can't emphasize that enough.
Yeah, for sure. Robert said something on the teacher Slack the other day that I really liked, which was, sometimes people complain about like, oh, I miss level 4 and level 5 questions.
Hmm.
Robert had a note that just said something along the lines of, well, if you have level 5 understanding of the passage, then it turns every question into a level 1. So I would say to Samir, I mean, I just think it's pretty clear that you're investing your time inefficiently. My guess is that when you do reading comp, you're investing your time inefficiently there as well, because
Hmm.
you're like racing through the passage, racing through the questions, comparing answer choices to one another instead of dominating the passage, predicting the answer to the questions, and then just ruthlessly cutting through the nonsense of the wrong answer choices, because there's really only one answer that answers the question.
Yep. Anything else for Samir?
Nope.
Okay.
Thanks, Samir.
Thanks for emailing in. Email daily at lsatdemon.com if you'd like to ask a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.